We have a ton of properties to cover in this lesson. We're going to cover the power of a power property, the zero exponent property, and the negative exponent property. And because we have so much to do, I've got this application problem up here. If you'd like to try it on your own and check it with me in class, I'm going to let you do that. But because we've got so much to work on, I'm going to skip that problem. So let's look at our first property, the power of a power property. So this is when we're already raising something, a power, to an exponent, and then we raise it to another exponent. And you can see the rule says to multiply them together. Also, if you have multiple bases, you're going to distribute. It's almost like distributing. See that n? Ended up going to this one and to the m. So it has to go to everything inside. But let me show you an example and it'll make a little bit more sense. So for this one, we're going to start this problem. We're going to do it two different ways. We're going to start by expanding it. So to expand it, we need to write it 3 times, everything inside the parentheses. So 3a to the 4th, 3a to the 4th, 3a to the 4th. And this will take a long time. We'd have the 3's. There's 3 of them, so this would equal 3 to the 3rd. And then we've got the a to the 4th, a to the 4th, a to the 4th. So that'd be 4 plus 4 plus 4, which would be a to the 12th power, I believe. And if we keep going with that, 3 to the 3rd ends up being 27, a to the 12th. So that's one way you can do it, but when your exponents get larger, expanding is quite tedious. So what we did instead in the second problem, we just went straight for it. There's our 3 to the 3rd. We can see we ended up with 3 to the 3rd. And then we've got 3 times the 4th power. So whenever you've got a power, an exponent on the outside of the parentheses, it becomes multiplication. 4 times 3. And don't worry, we'll do some more examples, but we're going to finish that with 27a to the 12th. In the next part, we're going to use the zero exponent property. This is one of the simplest rules. It's very elegant and easy to use, but a lot of people make a mistake here. Students often get this wrong. They say it equals 0, not 1. So why is this true? This seems kind of weird. Why doesn't it equal 0? Well, let's look at the pattern, and I think you'll figure it out. To show what I mean, I'm going to start with 4 to the 3rd power, which, by the way, 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. And I'm just going to go down one exponent each time. So now 4 squared is 16. Now, if we think about it, to get from here to here, I'm really just dividing by 4 each time. And then I've got 4 to the 1st power. If I go down one more power, I get just 4. And notice I divided by 4 again. So to get from here to here. And then my next one would be 4 to the 0. If I divide by 4 one more time here, I'm going to get 4 divided by 4, which is just 1. And that's the rule we just came up with. Watch what happens when I continue this pattern even further. If I go to 4 to the negative 1, I can take this one, divide it by 4, and I'm going to leave it as a fraction. I'm going to get 1/4. And I can keep going. 4 to the negative 2 is going to be, if I divide by 4 one more time, I know this is tricky, it's actually going to be 1/16. And let's think about what 4 squared is. 4 squared is 16, so I'm going to keep getting multiples in my denominator now, which actually leaves us to the negative exponent property. Whenever you have a negative exponent, so a negative exponent, it moves into the denominator at the same exponent. So what we're seeing here is 4 to the negative 2 becomes in the denominator just a 16. These do not become negative numbers. You can see going even one more, 4 to the negative 3 would be 1 over 64, or we could simplify that to 1 over 4 cubed. We're going to put all of these rules together. It's going to be tough in some examples here. I came up with a little saying to help you with the order. Perfect math nerds. Do your parentheses first. Do any multiplication or divide if necessarily, and I'll show you what that means. And then do anything if you have any negative exponents left over. So let's jump into example A here. First, I'm going to check for any parentheses. I don't have them. Multiply or divide. So I'm going to split this apart and see what I have here. I split the number away from the variables, and then I'm going to use my quotient rule about subtracting exponents to see what I get next. I've got 3 times m to the negative 4 minus 3. Simplifying that one more time, I'm going to get m to the negative 7. I don't want to leave, so we never leave a negative exponent. So negative exponents we just learned get moved to the denominator. I'll have 3 over m to the positive 7, and that'll be my final answer. I didn't lie, these will be tricky. This next problem has a parenthesis, and remember we want to do those parentheses first. So I've got an exponent on the outside. I'm going to distribute it inside my parentheses so I can get rid of that. So I end up with 3 to the negative 2 times m also to the negative 2. I can, since both of these are negative exponents, I'm going to move them to the denominator. So I get 1 over 3 squared times 1 over m squared. And now I'm going to put it all back together. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 squared is 9. M squared is my final answer. In example C, I want to move everything together that's alike. So I'm going to move my x's. I've got this x squared and x cubed. So x squared times x cubed. I've got these y's. I'm going to move them together. Y to the negative 4th and y squared. Now I actually didn't need to do this step. I could have skipped it and just added my exponents. So x raised to the 2 plus 3, y to the negative 4, plus 2. Putting that all back together, I'm going to get x to the 5th power, y to the negative 2. Since I'm not allowed to leave any answers with negative exponents, I'd have x to the 5th. The y moves to the denominator squared, and I am done. I'm going pretty quickly. I want to get all these examples in. This one has parentheses, so I'm going to take that 4 and I'm going to multiply it to the inside. 4 times 4, or 4 to the 4th power, excuse me. And then I've got x, and we're going to times 0 times 4. So that's still going to be 0. Remember that anything to the 0 power is going to be 1. I get 4 to the 4th times 1, and 4 to the 4th power is 256. Why don't you try E on your own? I'm not going to ask you about it, but if you want to work ahead and see if you're understanding or not, try E on your own. Hopefully you took care of those parentheses first, and we've got x to the 4th, y to the negative 2, and we're going to write that as a fraction again. So we've got x to the 4th over y squared. very similar to example C. Now, you will not have anything as difficult as example F on your Delta Math. So if you'd like to try it on your own and have me check it in class, I am happy to do that.